A little more than 8 weeks to go and we know a wee bit more about the plans for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's upcoming royal wedding as Kensington Palace continues to dribble out tantalizing details. Tidbits about the cake, the invitations, the reception venue and the commemorative china are coming into focus, but we're still in the dark about the most tantalizing detail of all. Here's what we know so far, and what we don't know yet. The dressWho will create the wedding gown for the most unprecedented royal bride in centuries. When Markle, 36, the biracial American actress and divorcee, walks down the aisle of St. George's Chapel at Windsor Castle on May 19, will she be in a frothy princessy-style confection of the sort worn by Harry's mother, Lady Diana Spencer, in 1981? Or an elegant couture stunner by Sarah Burton for Alexander McQueen like that worn by Kate Middleton when she married Harry's brother, Prince William, in 2011? As always when it comes to royal wedding speculation, let's go to the bookies. In February, a sudden surge of wagers on McQueen caused London's bookmakers to suspend taking bets, in case a leak gave some punters unfair advantage on that design house, still a favourite of Duchess Kate of Cambridge. Then earlier this month, after a similar flurry, Ladbrokes suspended bets on Britain's couture house Ralph. The team of Tamara, Ralph and Michael Russo have been touted as frontrunners ever since Markle wore one of their exquisite creations, which cost nearly $80,000, in one of her official engagement photos. Another designer with high odds is Roland Moret, the London-based Frenchman who is a friend of Markle's. Some fashion followers are convinced he dropped hints he might get the job in a recent interview with WWD when he was asked directly. I don't want to say. No comment. There is no comment on that. She's a friend. And I can't say. He also told the New York Post that Markle knows really well what she likes and the main thing with Meghan is to listen to her and work in collaboration with her. Then he clammed up, adding, "I've already said too much." Meanwhile, some news outlets reported months ago the designer had been chosen. In January, ABC News cited a series of tweets by British royal reporter Omid Stabi about how Markle had chosen the designer and dress, had her first fitting at Kensington Palace and was relying on her Canadian pal, stylist Jessica Mulroney, daughter-in-law to an ex-Canadian Prime Minister, for help in planning the nuptials. Here's a safe bet, we won't find out for sure about her dress until she arrives at the chapel door. The cake baker Claire Tack poses for a photograph inside her bakery, Violet, in East London on March 20, 2018. Victoria Jones, AFP, Getty Images. Think spring, lemon, elderflower, fresh flowers. The palace announced last week the wedding cake will be a lemon elderflower concoction incorporating the bright flavors of spring, covered with buttercream and adorned with fresh flowers. And it will have an American flavor, California. Specifically, Claire Tack is the chosen confectioner. She was raised in California and worked as a pastry chef under the celebrated Alice Waters at Chez Panisse in Berkeley, and now runs Violet Bakery in London. The invitation's there in the mail, the palace announced last week. Who's getting one? They haven't released the guest list yet, and might not until the day of the wedding. But now we know 600 people will be in the chapel for the nuptials and at the luncheon reception hosted by Queen Elizabeth II later at St. George's Hall in the Castle State Apartments. The palace released pictures of the invites and their mighty regal, printed in gold and black American-made ink on English cardstock and featuring the three-feathered badge of the Prince of Wales, Harry's father. They were made by Barnard. Invitations for the wedding of Britain's Prince Harry and US actress Meghan Markle are pictured, after they have been printed at the workshop of Barnard and Westwood in London on March 22, 2018. Victoria Jones, AFP, Getty Images. This is the private sit-down dinner for 200 hosted by Prince Charles after the main reception at the castle. It's going to be at Frogmore House, the 17th-century manor on the castle estate best known as a former royal family home and the site of the royal mausoleum where Queen Victoria and Prince Albert are buried. Occasionally used for royal wedding receptions, Frogmore is a favorite of Harry and Meghan, who posed for some of their engagement photos there. The china oak, it's not their personal china but the official commemorative English fine bone china, sold to tourists and royal fans as souvenirs by the Buckingham Palace shop. According to the palace press release, the china is handmade in England using traditional methods unchanged for 250 years. The design features a monogram of the couple's initials tied together with white ribbons and surmounted by the coronet of Prince Harry. The decorative borders are inspired by the mid-13th century Gilbertist door at St. George's Chapel, one of the few surviving parts of the earliest chapel at Windsor Castle. The collection prices range from about $15 for an official Harry and Meghan tea towel to about $70 for an official Harry and Meghan commemorative plate. Sales proceeds will go to the Royal Collection Trust, the charity that cares for and manages the royal collection of art, museums and palaces open to the public. The baptized Markle is now an official member of the Church of England, headed by her soon-to-be grandmother-in-law, the Queen. We know this because news of the private ceremony at the Chapel Royal in St James's Palace in London leaked out to British